You're going to hear about two anticipated new products from both Fenty and Victoria Beckham Beauty today with me, Rebecca. I am a fashion and beauty journalist and editor who has brought not fit for print beauty here so that you have a little beauty magazine to kind of figuratively flip through every day or so here on YouTube. All right, let's get started. We do have a demo coming up and some swatches, ingredients, all of that good stuff. So Fenty has been on their game lately. I talk at the end, or I will speak, I should say, at the end when I do a little bit of a wrap up about my thoughts of this kind of re-emergence of Fenty as a little bit of a powerhouse in the makeup scene. It had a few down years, I think. Personally, I feel. But I really feel like they're back, especially with these cheek products. Now, this is an interesting one. This is the Fenty Cheeks Suede Waterproof Powder Blush. They're $28, and they are, I wouldn't have known these were powder if I weren't told. They really have the feel almost of a cream, but it's a definite cream to powder. They feel like cream in the pan, and when you put them, if you put them on your finger and go like that, all of a sudden it feels like a powder. So it only feels like a cream in the pan. So it's a very interesting formula. Again, $28. There are 8 shades, 6 are matte shades, 2 are shimmer. Both are new. I picked up Bakin cakes. You'll see some swatches in a few moments here. And Daiquiri dip. I thought we'd try this really loud one as well. But there are 8 shades, so you're bound to find something that you like. They promise to be one swipe, high impact that they are, no caking, really buildable, and the brand says that a little bit goes a long way. So they kind of warn you to be careful. But I will tell you that in the demo, I anticipated an application much like the powder application in the Patrick Ta loud shades, or the One Size or House Labs really loud bold shades. And it's a very different application because the formula is very different. I think it's actually a lot more forgiving. I'll let you watch the demo to see that. But there are 8 different shades, and we are going to do swatches in 2 different lightings as well. First of all, here are the ingredients in the Fenty Cheeks. I think this is the Baking Cakes shade. Again, different shades can have slightly different ingredients, but I can't do them all. After all, I only bought 2 of the 8. But in those 8 shades, I mean, they really, the formula is really interesting. I think that's a great way to put it. It's interesting and nice. Truly. All right, before we get to the swatches, let's talk really quickly about this new release from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Posh Balm. It is $32 and comes in, I want to say 4 shades, but it's really 3 shades plus 1 translucent clear shade. This is offering 24 hours of hydration. It is pH adapting. You know what that means. It's going to want to head towards pink. All pH adapting products. My joke is, and it's not so, it's only funny because it's kind of true, all of these pH adapting products want to go garish pink. A different garish pink, I suppose, on everyone. Your own body chemistry makes its own garish pink. But, you know, this is one of those melty formulas. This is the Cassis shade, which is that kind of sheer blackberry shade. And it's really one of those like, melting formulas. We saw Mario do these, and Charlotte Tilbury did this, and one more. Basically, when you push this up, it's not going to go back down because if it goes up too high, it's almost like it wants to go liquid. It just, or wants to be in a tub, you know, so it can barely be contained in a tube. So it rolls up but not back down. So you just kind of pull up 1 dose. It can be worn under, and then again, over lipstick. It can be worn under a lip gloss, so you can make it glossier. It can be an overnight treatment. And like I said, you twist to deliver that precise result. They make a lot of promises about how you can use this product in different ways, but it almost feels, there's so many promises about this product, wear it under and over, wear lip gloss over it, where it almost feels like, try this wheelbarrow. You can also take it into your home and take your laundry from spot to spot in it. You can walk to school with your wheelbarrow. You know, like, I'm not going to use a wheelbarrow for that. Forgive my weird analogies, but they give me almost a comical amount of uses for what is in actuality a hydrating lip balm. Use it how you want, you know. But this is the Cassis shade. I am wearing it. You'll see the demo. To get this amount of coverage, I want you to stick around to see how I applied it. and how many layers, and we have a lot to talk about with that. But again, there are 4 shades in total if you're counting transparent as a shade, and this is Cassis. All right, and here are the ingredients in the Victoria Beckham Beauty Posh Balm, at least the Cassis shade. So do take a look at that. Freeze the screen, enlarge, whatever you got to do. You can enlarge, especially on a phone. I have checked to make sure. I always say enlarge. Hadn't gotten any complaints, but I did check it. You can. Okay, so pause it and enlarge it if you need to. All right, let's do some swatches before we go to the demo. 2 different lights. Here we have in studio lighting, we got our Fenty Cheeks Suede Waterproof Powder Blush, first in Bakin Cakes, and then in Daiquiri Dip. That's that red. Boy, does it look red in the pan. It's much more bearable when done in a swatch. It's not as crazy as you would think. And like I said, the whole blush, this kind of, a little goes a long way. Be careful. I didn't really find that to be the case. I found it very easy and pleasurable to use, even if you like a dark look. But if you like a more demure, a gentle blush, I think that's really achievable with these 2 and those louder powder blushes that we saw released, especially last summer. I don't think you can really achieve a light wash of color unless you blow it into the air and walk through it like a strong perfume, you know? All right, now let's take these outside into the warm California sunshine. We have our Fenty Bakin Cakes, Daiquiri Dip, and our Victoria Beckham Cassis. The Cassis was on the inside shot too, all the way to the right, if I didn't mention it. And that's really pretty. All right, I want to go to the demo. Do make sure that you check down below in the description bar if you want to check out any of these products for purchase or perusal. If you're interested in joining our free Facebook page, thank you, Helen, for running that. I also have a membership here on YouTube for under $5 a month. Get weekly lives. We'd love to see you there. All that good stuff. Check me out on Instagram, TikTok. You know, all the usual suspects. And of course, here you can do a little bit of YouTube shopping as well. Make sure you're subscribed, and let's go to the demo. There will be a face wash in here, so let's just start with the lighter of the 2 blushes, which would be our Bakin Cakes shade, and then we'll move to the Daiquiri Dip, which is that red. Since I only have 1 Victoria Beckham Beauty Posh Balm, we'll try that first. Doesn't really go with the red, but you know. Okay, so we can wind this up. Only so far. Let's see what this pH adapting thing is going to do. Is it going to turn pink even though it's Cassis? Let's see. Okay, so far you have to let these things develop, this pH balance, so it should be kind of purpling itself up on my bottom lip there. It's not though, is it? Okay. So you can layer this. It's nice and shiny. Interestingly enough though, the website says you can add their gloss over it. Okay, now it's purpling up a bit. And interestingly enough, I've only had to wind it up that once. You don't really need a lot of product. Let's see. I'm trying to build it to be some sort of a color that you can see. So please know, whichever shade you pick, it's going to take a lot of building if you want it to get to the right shade. And that pH adaptive stuff does need to sit on your skin with the warmth of your skin to make it change. I will say this, because it's a thick balm, I really don't want any more on because it's getting even thicker. It feels really nice, but I just don't want to keep coating it. And remember, I'm trying to wind it down and it doesn't. That's not its thing. Okay, so let's let that sit there. I thought that was really going to clash with the red, but I don't think there's enough of a color to make it clash, frankly. But we're going to start anyway with our Bakin Cakes shade, which is a really interesting shade. I'm a little bit nervous. I forgot my brushes, so I'm going to go get them. I'm a little bit nervous about using this because, as you guys know, I am a heavy-handed individual, to say the least. So I'm going to have to be careful. I think I'll do one side really normal for everyday wear, and then one side will make it a little heavier for you to see the color, since I'm going to be washing my face off anyway. All right, let me get my brushes. Stay ready. You think a member of my staff would have come running over to hand this to me, but I have no staff. Just me. Okay, we got some Wayne Goss brushes today for a change. Let's try this Bakin Cakes shade. No promises here. It feels like... cream, but I wouldn't even know it's powder had it not told me in the name of the product. but it's not. Oh, okay. So this is definitely on the brush, and it could be the hair I'm using of the brush here, but it goes onto the brush like that. But onto the face, it's not as dark. I'm sure the same cannot be said of that red shade. And this is a little bit of a fluffy brush, so it could be my brush choice. It's also a natural hair goat hair brush. Synthetic might pick it up a little bit better. Now let's try the other side. That's kind of a natural wash of color. Let me really overdo it over here. That means I'm really going to go in here. I do enjoy the way it applies. See, now this is, okay, when I coated the brush with it. We're going to see this with a deeper shade though, and I feel that we will have a different experience. Now I'm going to really overdo it on this cheek, so people that are flipping around this video are going to be like, you have it on more heavily on one side than the other. Oh, I can always tell. I'm like, oh, at least watch a few seconds to find out. Okay. And it is really matte. You know, it's interesting. I'm seeing that the more I apply. Again, natural wash like I would wear it outside of the house. And since I'm washing my face, a real overdoing of this Bakin Cakes shade, so you can really kind of see the shade on my light medium skin and hopefully help you out. Very matte. There's no doubt this is matte. You know, I sometimes have questioned natural and it's shiny, or matte, and I'm like, oh, for a matte shade. And then I have other products that are supposed to be shiny and I don't find them all that shiny, but this is definitely a true matte. It's very pretty. I'm going to take, this is a prototype Refer brush, and I'm going to put a little bit of this even on the eye. I won't do this with the red shade, so we'll just leave this on the eye. I don't want red on my eye, even though I've ordered that Pucci Givenchy eye quad, which has this dark fire engine red in it, but that's more collectible, I think. Okay, so again, a natural wash on this side. This is Bakin Cakes, and a much more intense application for you to see. And I just put a little bit of it on my eyes because you know that's what I like to do with blush. And then we have the Victoria Beckham Beauty Posh Balm in that Cassis, that kind of blackberry shade. Is it getting any darker? You know what's funny? If I do say so, for a blackberry shade, it's looking a little bit like a pinky blackberry, which would account for that pH shifting. Because, you know, my joke is that all of these pH adjusting products end up going a garish pink. And this obviously is not. But if I really stare at it, I can kind of see that it wants to go really pink. Which, you know, it's pH adjusting, so that would make sense. All right, now the comedy portion of this video might just be me coming back with this really electric red blush. So, you know, stick around for that if you need a good laugh. I'm going to go wash these cheeks off and we'll be right back. Okay, I promised you some laughs, and I think I'm going to come through with this Daiquiri dip shade. I mean, why not? At least it's not the purple. This is a Refer 18. Let's just try to be as delicate as we can. I just touched it and it's already on the brush. Let me just give it a try here. Oh yeah, see, now this is definitely one swipe. That's like enough blush already. You might go, what are you talking about? But maybe the camera's not picking it up, but honestly, that's enough. And I barely touched it. This is a dense brush. I don't know if I told you, a Refer 18. All right, let's do a little more. Whew. Let me put some on this cheek too, because I had so much on the brush. It's a pretty shade though. It's not really as fire engine red as I thought. It's kind of a, like when you think of what shade a blush should be, it should be this kind of rosy shade. I know it's not working with the lips, guys. And I on the Bakin Cakes, we did one side darker, so we'll do that here too. So this side will be my darker side, ridiculously dark. This side is a little bit, getting a little bit flush, but it's more of a natural look. This side is kind of ridiculously flush, so you can really see the color. It's not as fire engine red as it appears in the pan, is it? Okay, and again, very matte finish. All right, yeah, that works. So we have over applied, more natural. I gotta tell you, Things are picking up over at Fenty. For a while there, it felt to me like Rihanna had a passion project with Fenty, and I'll admit that for a few years there, especially, you know, she had new babies and whatnot, it felt like she had kind of had interest in other areas. Not that I would blame her. She was, like I said, a new mom twice over, right? But it feels like it's picking back up. Like I thought maybe it was dying on the vine a little bit, I'll admit. Especially now they're making all these products in Korea. It feels much more inspired again. I really like the shimmer shade. It was very shimmery, those blushes, those glowy blushes. But I mean, for what they were, they delivered. And I think this is the same. I love the texture and the feel of this powder. Like I said, if you told me it was cream, I would have believed you. And I like that. I feel like I was a little worried. I felt like this was going to be like those Patrick Ta or One Size blushes, even some of the House Labs that were so dark that it just poof. This is really blendable. So yes, it's one swipe, but I feel like I'm more in control. You know, like I prepared you for some sort of comedic, I know this is over applied, but when it's just applied regularly, it's quite nice. And I have a very heavy hand with blush, joking aside. This is a known fact. So yeah, I think these are worth an investment. There's 8 different shades. You're sure to find at least one that you like. Stupidly, my staff, when they were doing my ordering, didn't get one of the more shimmery. There's 2 shimmery shades. I just got 2 mattes, but I'm actually very happy with them. I think the shimmers would be pretty too, and I'll probably pick one up. Even this ridiculously loud shade actually comes off when applied correctly in a very pretty kind of feminine manner. In terms of the Victoria Beckham Posh Balm, let's see if it's going any pinker. It is. Look, it's really trying to get to pink. It's like trying to find its common ground with the other pH changing and adapting. It's very comfortable. I could see that it would be a nighttime treatment. You have to apply a lot of it in order to get any sort of color out of it. And it does end up feeling really thick. I mean, it's going to last me forever, all day today. I have so many layers on. Ideally, I would put a little more on to see a little bit of more of a shade to it, but it was already too much. It's getting thick on my lips. Feels really nice, but you know what I mean? Like, okay, that's enough. That's enough lip balm, Rebecca. And I still haven't quite achieved the color. But it's getting there, and it's certainly pretty. Your lips but better type pretty. Maybe the red would have showed a little better on me. There's a redder shade. Anyway, there are 4 different shades, and it is a very comfortable product. It doesn't roll back down. We've seen this type of product before. It is pH adapting, so be prepared that whatever shade you get is gonna be pink leaning. They all are like that. But you know, it's really pretty. I don't know if you want it for the price, but the Fenty cheeks are certainly affordable enough. So let me know what you picked up, what your thoughts are on these Fenty products as well as the Victoria Beckham Beauty. I mean, after all, like I always say, this is what makes us a community. Make sure that you share and like, and the greatest support that you can offer me is to make sure that you're subscribed. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.